The new Apple iPhone 17 is here, and to celebrate that, we decided to do a durability test on it. But this is no ordinary durability test. We will drop it, scratch it, bend it, and even burn it. Welcome to Tech Daily. Today we do an extreme durability test on the brand new iPhone 17. And while we do these tests with every new phone, the reason we do them is because these are some of the most expensive smartphones out there, and you should know what you're getting into when you make such a big purchase. The new iPhone 17 Pro starts at $1,000 and can go up from there depending on storage size and whether or not you want to add the new Apple Watch Ultra or AirPods Max to the mix. So let us see if this new phone is worth the money and find out what happens when you really push it to the limit. Now, right out of the box, I can tell you that the iPhone 17 is probably one of the sturdiest smartphones ever made. It has a very solid build quality and feel to it. This year's model features a new titanium frame, which I have to say feels great and looks terrific. But it also means that this iPhone is going to be more durable than ever before. And that's why in the first round of testing, we decided to drop test the iPhone 17 from 1 meter onto concrete. Now, this isn't an extraordinarily high drop, but considering the fact that this is a smartphone with a large glass screen, it was enough to cause some serious damage. In fact, this is the first time that an iPhone has cracked during our drop test. Now, the screen is still fully functional, but aesthetically it doesn't look too good. And if you zoom in on the top left corner, you can see that there is a hairline fracture that has developed across the display. Now, I would say that this is something that only really I would notice, but it's important to note that the iPhone 17 is the first iPhone in many years that we VA tested that has been dropped and has actually cracked. That tells me that although this phone is sturdy, it may not be as durable as previous models. To further investigate this theory, we then proceeded to do a 2-meter drop test, which once again resulted in a cracked screen. But this time, it was much worse. There is now a spiderweb of cracks that have developed across the entire display. Once again, the phone is still fully functional, but it definitely doesn't look so good. And this is where I can confidently say that this is the least durable iPhone that I've ever tested. We then moved on to the scratch test. And here is where things got really interesting. We used a steel wool pad and proceeded to rub it across the display. Now, this isn't an extremely hard material, but after a few minutes of continuous scratching, there was a noticeable line that had formed across the display. We then switched to a harder material, and within just a few seconds we were able to scratch the display pretty easily. Once again, this was surprising, since this is supposed to be one of the toughest iPhones ever made. In the past, Apple has used a ceramic shield on their iPhones, but this year they've switched to titanium. Although titanium is an incredibly strong metal, it's also quite brittle, which means that if you were to drop your phone, it's more likely to crack. Now, don't get me wrong, this is by no means a bad thing. In fact, I think that this makes sense considering the fact that this is supposed to be a premium flagship phone. If it was as durable as an iPhone, say, for example, people would complain that it's not as premium. But with that being said, I do think that this is less durable than previous iPhones. Now, the final test is always the burn test, and this is where things got really crazy. The iPhone 17 is the first iPhone to feature a titanium frame, and as it turns out, titanium burns incredibly easily. In fact, I've never seen anything like this happen before. Within just a few seconds of having a lit candle on the back of the phone, the titanium frame started to melt and burn. This is obviously a pretty extreme test, but I think it's important to show you guys that this is something that can actually happen. So there you have it. The new iPhone 17 is here, and as it turns out, it's not as durable as previous iPhones. In my opinion, I think that this is a good thing since it maintains the value of the previous iPhones. But with that being said, I do think that you should be a little bit more careful with this phone than you might have been with previous iPhones. And hopefully this video has given you some insight into what to expect. Let us know your thoughts and stay tuned for more.